Hey sweethearts, it's Rowan, and this is my lunch. Stay. And this is my weekly med vlog. It is Monday, oh shit, okay, so Saturday was the 13th, so 15th. That's right, I wrote it down like 3 times today, so I guess I could also check my meds. So speaking of meds, I'm actually going to talk about my meds for a little bit this week, and so I've apparently forgotten a couple more dinners than I thought. I knew I forgot last night's. Oh wait, that's today. Yeah, that's today. I don't need to do today again. So yeah, I knew I forgot last night. So, okay, that's today, so I didn't forget today, because today's dinner hasn't happened yet. So, I knew I forgot last night's, and apparently I forgot Friday night's dinner meds, but that's okay. That's not the extra super important ones, and that is for a trash bin, and so I had an appointment with my psychiatrist today, and because the dexamphetamine. Oh, hey, she did me a 90-day supply on the Paxil. Yay! I don't have to get it until October to November, December, January. I don't have to get it till January. Yes! So, yeah, because the dexamphetamine is, you know, it's extra super controlled. I'm on so many controlled substances, so, I don't think gabapentin counts, but I do know that they want you to... it's got to do with, something with my, I don't know, which one of my pain meds, is, actually, no, both of those, okay, so these are my pain meds. I take these as needed, and I should probably put some in my little pod on my keychain for tonight, because I do plan on going out. If only because I told my friend Charles that I would be, and he is... if he is coming out tonight, which I hope so, because he usually does. He's coming out from Allen Park, which is, so let's see, Detroit is right about here, and then there's the bridge over into Windsor, and I think Allen Park is a little bit yay, and yet Ypsi and Ann Arbor is like yay. And then there's Lansing, not quite central-most. But I've got a story about how Lansing became the state capital, but that's another story for another time. If you want to know it sooner, leave a comment below. But yeah, my meds. So because the dexamphetamine, which is the other one, that's controlled substance. That's like extra controlled, like more than these two. These two, I just have to go like my doctor has to send it in, but this one, I have to take in a paper prescription every time I get it refilled. So, but these, it's like, they don't put refills on them, it's just the doctor has to call it in every time. And then there's my, Moans, and that, yeah, that's controlled as well. But again, it's something that that the doctor can just call in. So, basically, I'm on a whole lot of things that you need, like, all sorts of clearances for. Which makes me wonder how the fuck I'm going to, go visit Ireland. How I'm going to go visit Ireland in July, which is my plan. Please come back to me, Pill. I saw it fall. It is... Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's my floor. So yeah, the thing with the dexys, that kind of plateaued a little bit. I mean, I was feeling like I could theoretically focus, but, and yeah, learning life skills is very important, but, I had been looking at some things, but I didn't bring it up to my psychiatrist today. She's the one who reminded me, reminded me that I had been seeing some things about, I forget exactly which kind of scan it is, but, there are there were scans of, the neurotypical or at least non-ADHD brain, and compared to an ADHD brain, and that it does show that there is, that it is like, a biochemical, neurodivergence. So yeah, she's like, well, it makes sense that it would plateau a bit, even if you are feeling like, you could focus a little bit more. What I was on for the previous month, which was 5 milligrams with breakfast and with lunch, she said that is, very low for a therapeutic dose. Like, that's something that they usually try, as a first thing for children. But no, for an adult, she said that's a very low therapeutic dose, so it makes sense that it plateaued, and we are going to try a higher dose, and this is in a, so she recommends, okay, so these are capsules rather than the little bitty pills. Oh, I still have one more of these. Oops, what am I doing with that now? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I could put it in the little baggie going to the sheriff's station with all my old meds I don't take anymore. So yeah, she's recommending I take this one in the morning, and it is a more longer-lasting delay-release capsule, so we'll see how that works. And, of course, working with my therapist on, life skills, to help me better manage my, my newfound focus, that would be great. But yeah, so now that I'm done talking about meds, let's talk about that thing I mentioned with, yeah, that's all I gotta talk about with my meds. That's the only big change. Oh, yeah, well, we're thinking next month, or, maybe as soon as 2 weeks, because I'm going back in 2 weeks. But we're thinking maybe next month, we can try weaning me off of the Xanax and, to, an as-needed thing and see how that works for me. So that would be nice. That would be nice, because I've been a lot less anxious on this, which is good. I don't like feeling anxious all the time, so, like, if it's something where, like, my other meds that, are a bit more, like the Paxil, which, really wants to build up in your system first, rather than the Xanax, which, is very fast-acting, which, is, like, that's why it's great as, for an as-needed, but if I'm taking it daily, that's not good. But yeah, if we can get me to an as-needed on that, that would be great. But yeah, I was talking about, so yeah, that's the only other change. And, okay, so I am going to need to call in for a refill on this next week. Oh wait, no, I've got 2 refills on this, so I will just request a refill via Walgreens app, which is on my phone, which is what I'm recording with. But, so yeah, Ireland, I have been thinking more and more, and I have technically started a GoFundMe, but I'm not really promoting it yet. I don't think I want to promote it really until the, until about the solstice, just because, that's a new year, new goals, new plans. I mean, you are more than welcome to, search it. I did put my name in the title, if you want to go to GoFundMe and search it out, you are more than welcome to start adding a few dollars, in that. I, have, set it for monthly withdrawals, rather than weekly, so I've been, oh wait, I've already got that, and that, because that's the same thing. So I've got it set up for monthly withdrawals, rather than weekly. But yeah, I had been doing a little bit of researching into what's it called, airfare, and with the and so just the airfare, it looks about $800 to $900. So you figure after GoFundMe fees and any applicable taxes, let's just say $1,000 max for this. So that's what the GoFundMe is set for, is for about $1,000. A friend did tell me about a website, something like Scott's Cheap Flights, and I did join that site, so I get emails once or twice a week. She says she's seen flights to Dublin on there for as low as $500. So obviously, if I can snatch one of those up by the time I've got 500, or so in savings, I can end the GoFundMe, obviously, and just, set my flight for July. Why I've picked July. First off, my birthday is in the middle, thereabouts of July. So my birthday is July 22. And, hey. So my birthday is July 22nd, and so, a little, late middle of July, but, so that is, as best to my research I can figure, it's not the most high-traffic tourist season for the British Isles. Definitely not for Ireland. That's when a lot of obnoxious Americans like to go see Ireland in March for St. Patrick's Day. And even though, I think Dublin has lifted the ban on drinking on St. Patrick's Day, just to appease the tourists who were apparently going out to, Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, not understanding that the whole, booze up nonsense is, very much an American thing. That, St. Patrick's Day in Ireland is a very different animal to St. Patrick's Day in the States. Oh, that's what I forgot. Oops! Forgot my refills. Okay. So, not realizing that St. Patrick's Day in Ireland is a very different thing from St. Patrick's Day in the States. I think Dublin has lifted the ban on alcohol, but the rest of the island, it's like, no, go to, those 2 or 3 tourist pubs in Dublin if you want to drink on St. Patrick's Day. Why did you do absolutely zero research? So, I'm definitely going on, a time where there is a lower, population of obnoxious American tourists, so that's good. I'm not gonna stand out too much. And that goes in there, and then what happens? And then I do these ones. Oops. So I want to go on my birthday. I want to arrive a week before, leave a week after, and I've already got vaguely tentative plans. We're talking about it in embryo of meeting up for lunch or whatever with my friend Gavin. I'm looking through people on couchsurfing.com, mostly through the app right now. I'm looking at them. No. So I'm looking through the app on couchsurfing.com, and where the hell? I just put it in here. No. There we go. And there are a fair amount of people in Dublin, and I'm not looking too far outside Dublin because I don't know what the public transportation in Dublin is like how reliable it is, how far outside Dublin it goes. So just to be on the safe side, especially because it is very expensive to call internationally, and that, at least stateside anyway, that is the best way I've figured out to actually get any concrete answers about the public transportation, is to, call them directly. But then what happens? So, just to be on the safe side, I'm my plan is to, stay with somebody in Dublin. And, unless my friend Kali, who is an Australian expatriate living in Ireland, I think she's lived there just long enough that she qualifies for an Irish passport. They've got some really interesting immigration, permanent resident, kind of laws. They're a little bit more relaxed than some places, so I want to ask a little bit more about that, ideally when I get there, but, I'll look up things a bit, like, hi kitties, please don't knock over the phone. So, so then what happens? So, I want to see, how far, is she going to be willing to drive to Dublin, from Wexford? Is that where she's at? Where the hell is she? It's, something. Is Wexford? Or is Wexford in England? It begins with a W. So I want to see, if she's willing to drive out there and, pick me up. If not, I could stay with her, or I could stay with somebody in Dublin. I would like to stay with somebody in Dublin. I'd like to stay with my friend Gavin in Dublin. But no, that's another story for another time. Hello, Nigel. And, so I would, so I'm looking, now, it's obviously, quite far in advance. I don't even have an air ticket booked, so I'm just looking to, get an idea of the kinds of people that, are on couch surfing that I could stay with in Dublin. It seems to be a lot of very nice people. If, there's one musician I would really love to stay with if he'd have me by, the time I get my, airfare booked. I would love to, stay at his place, maybe collaborate some. If you are yourself in Ireland and would love to, host me, that would be great. Again, unfortunately, I don't even have the airfare yet, but yeah, I'd love to meet all sorts of people in the Dublin area. I'm also thinking of looking around and seeing what kind of goth nights are going there. It might be bending some kind of, international, work kind of rules, but if I could get a, just a guest spot to DJ at a goth club in Dublin, that would be great. I'm not even asking to be paid very much for it. I would gladly do... No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I'm going to gladly do it for booze and, whatnot, but, I'm not... I know what it pays to, DJ goth nights here. I'm not expecting much if somebody wants to offer me that. But yeah, if you know of any goth clubs in Dublin or the Dublin-like area accessible through Dublin public transportation, please recommend it to me. Other than that, I think I'm done with this week's med vlog, and so that's all about what's on my mind. And am I drinking coffee or am I drinking my thing? See, this is what happens. This is how I know this shit's plateaued on me. And hi, hello, Murnau. No, I don't think you can come to Dublin with me. I would love to, but nobody on couch surfing. I was looking to see, like, who on Couchsurfing in Dublin, would, be willing to host people who travel with pets, and there's nobody willing to host people who travel with pets. So, while Nigel is registered as an ESA, and he's very well behaved, unlike most people who try and, like, bring an ESA onto a plane, and it's something, like, completely obnoxious, or, oh god, there was this woman who brought in a pot-bellied pig that clearly, like, was not very well socialized, and it was, like, shitting up and down the aisle of the plane. And that was, like, the first big news item I'd seen with people who, are bringing misbehaved animals onto a plane as an ESA. But Nigel's very well behaved. It's just like, if I can't stay somewhere, who will let me bring him with me? And plus, like, I don't know, I haven't researched, traveling to the EU with pets. And that's basically what an ESA is. It's a pet who has a special little certificate. It is not a trained animal, trained to do specific tasks as a service animal. That's what a service animal is, at least according to the U.S. ADA statutes. So a service animal is trained to perform specific duties, like, is this, can this dog catch a seizure? Can this dog, like, tell when you're having a seizure and alert people? Is this, like, a seeing eye horse? Is this, like, a little helper monkey who will, like, get your coin pouch out of your thing on the back of your wheelchair? Like, that's a service animal. An ESA, it's basically a pet who, ideally, is a pet who is very well tuned to your, your emotional well-being, which Nigel very much is. But an ESA does not require special training, so, I've seen a lot of people locally, say, oh, I can bring my dog into the post office, he's an ESA. I'm like, that's not what an ESA is. An ESA is not a service animal. You are exploiting people's ignorance. Your dog does not belong in the post office. I don't care how much you love it. I don't care how much you love it, how well behaved you think it is, you are making this worse for everybody, who actually, does, understand, these laws and does not exploit them and, is using them for their benefit. Like, the reason I have, Nigel registered as an ESA is because, well, one, I'm poor, two, he's very helpful for my emotional well-being, as perverted as he is. Yes, we're talking about you and how you like to watch me masturbate. He looked at me. But yeah, like, I'm a disabled person, and he is very helpful for my emotional well-being. All three of them are, but, as long as I had a minimum of one registered, they will, they are legally required to waive pet fees on apartments. And that's all I bring him for, is like, waive a pet fee for an apartment, waive a pet fee if traveling by plane. They do not allow ESAs on the Amtrak. They are not legally required to. Airfare is something different, though. Actually, I think Amtrak is also federal, but, it does have federal laws that it has to obey, but, it's not required by federal law to allow ESA, so they don't. I don't remember about the interstate buses, like, Greyhound and Indian Trails. But yeah, like, I don't know. If I can't find a host who will let me travel with him, then, whatever. No, I'll just, I wasn't gonna travel with all three of them. I was just gonna travel with one of them. Nigel, maybe, or I might get one of the other two registered because they travel better than Nigel does. Maybe Phoebe, just to give her respite from the other two. But, just have a friend come by and feed the other two. But, if I have to have a friend come by and feed them all, that's fine. So, yeah, I think that's it. We're closing in on 25 minutes, and that's a little bit longer than I like to do these, but I got rambling about things. If you enjoyed watching this nonsense, please like, subscribe, notifications, all that shit. Leave some comments with any feedback, especially if you yourself live in the Dublin area and know of any goth nights I might at least want to visit. If you have any advice, you know, on things for a non-tourist to do in Dublin. And, I mean, yeah, technically I would be, but I don't like doing touristy shit. I don't like doing touristy shit anywhere, really. Like, not even in Chicago. Like, every time I go to Chicago, like, even the first time I went to Chicago, and every time I go to Chicago, it's usually to see friends at this point, but even my very first time going to Chicago by myself, I wanted nothing to do with touristy shit. I'm going specifically to see, you know, some friends and make some new friends, and you can't do that when you're doing touristy nonsense. Like, locals will avoid you if they see you, you know, going to do touristy bullshit. And I know this because Ann Arbor gets touristy bullshit every year. Usually around my birthday during art fair, which is another reason I want to go, like, leave the fucking country for my birthday, is like, I won't have to deal with the Ann Arbor Art Fair. Granted, that will also be cutting into the best busking time for me in the whole year, but it is worth it. It is worth it. It is worth it. Right? That is how much I hate tourists. That is how much I hate tourists so much. Shit, when I lived in Los Angeles, like, I dealt with tourists. There was a time when I lived in LA that I would just, you know, I would exploit tourists, you know, like, you know, there was a time, like, I briefly would hang out by the Chinese theater, and, you know, there's all the costume characters, and I had a bright pink mohawk, and I actually got the idea from a tourist. You know, this woman stopped me, and, you know, she's saying, you know, my 11-year-old daughter, she just saw a pretty woman, and she really wants to take a picture with a hooker, and my first thought is like, God damn, is this like the second person who thinks I'm a hooker? And she says, but then we saw you, and I said, like, you know, do you want to take a picture with a punk rocker instead? And I'm like, I don't know, you got $5 for me to, like, stand here and take a picture with your daughter? Oh, I've got a 10, you know, I mean, if you can't break it, that's fine. I'm like, sure, I'll take your $10 just to sit here and pose with your fucking children. And so, yeah, so that's how I got the idea. Like, you know, depending on the number of children, $5-10, you know, take pictures with, you know, a real LA punk, and I was even a transplant too, so yeah. That's like how much I love tourists. It's like, I will take tourist money, even if I'm not originally from there. If I'm just a transplant, you know, even there for, like, you know, a few weeks, you know, a month, you know, oh god, I was in LA, like, what, like a year or something? Year and a half? Something like that. And it's like, no, I will gladly take tourist money. But I like, no, don't try to chat with me. You're just here for, like, the weekend, and then you're going to your own bullshit. So yeah, I'm going to, you know, see Dublin, to make some friends, to, hopefully stake out a plan on, you know, expatriating myself to Ireland. That would be great. So yeah, leave your advice, leave your comments, and now I'm gonna wrap things up after I got distracted about tourists. Oh god, that's... No, not talking about tourists again. Alright, like, subscribe, bell, bullshit. Alright, bye-bye, bats and kisses, and I love you all, and goodbye again, for like the 80th time.